a classic thing. She motivates me to be my best self. That's the first. That's easy for me to say because it happens.
Yeah.
I love that you are adventurous. That we hang out all day and we're friends. That's the coolest part, actually.
I think that the first thing that attracted me that he's tall. But actually the main thing that attracted me was that he's very smart. And I really liked that about him.
I'm sort of a lapsed Catholic. I had tried to get back into it a few times. My kids, I want to give them some sort of base. Never really stuck. Then Marii enters the picture. And you kind of pushed me over the edge. Like, hey, here's the kind of church that you go to. Your Estonian screens on the, screens and music. And I know that sounds normal, but that wasn't normal.
Right.
So I literally went on the internet, and you guys were 2 blocks away, and I had no idea what to expect. Mm-hmm. So I showed up, and it's a movie theater, which was, what's going on here? I kind of just attended in the back, literally back row each time. But every time, you would speak for an hour, or Crystal would speak for an hour, and whether or not I agreed with you 100% or not, I always walked out of there thinking. I always walked out of there challenged. I always walked out of there, half the time I walked out of there uncomfortable, to be honest with you. Because, you were sharpening my faith. You were making me question things and making me think about what I believed. So the format of your service got me out of my comfort zone, and at the same time you spent a lot of time talking and gave me a lot of time thinking. So getting me out of my comfort zone and getting me thinking really got me over the hump of, hey, stick with something.
Right.
I can safely say that the things I believe in are a lot more concrete now than 2 years ago.
Right.
Because I think about it a lot more. It's always been important to me to serve. I think that's a big calling of why we believe in a God and why we believe in Jesus. That was Jesus' model. And you guys have your church has got me actively serving.
That's cool.
That's a tangible, side effect of all this going to church and thinking and all that sort of thing. It's also been a good springboard for us coming together and learning about what each other believe. After church, I would talk to her on Skype because she was not in Boston yet.
Right.
And we talk about here's what happened in church today, and what do you believe? What do I believe? And so it helped us as a couple come together and learn about where we are, in relation to each other on faith.
One thing definitely what you really didn't do, I think, was the praying. We started praying every night together, and also reading Bible.
Read the Bible a lot more. Again, that's a joint thing that helps us grow our faith. We definitely pray together. That's another joint thing that helps us.
Yeah, that's been
all
very
those
interesting.
Things came into it, yeah.
Interesting for me to see how Eddy have developed, like how he prayed at the beginning, and now how he prays right now. So it's very interesting. I think it definitely have become more personal. It was really interesting for me to, when we prayed together at first, and it was hard for you to talk to God like God.
Yeah, it was
But yeah, now you're talking to like, hey God, I'm sorry, I've been lazy, or hey God, I'm sorry,
well, that's not the
about that today,
sorry. Only the inner workings of my prayers.
I was telling like now you're talking to God like somebody somebody who's your friend. That I definitely need to date with somebody who's a true Christian, and actually Catholic definitely didn't fit in this category. So I was quite worried about that, because I was raised the way that I'm gonna get married with somebody who believes in God truly, whose life is dedicated to God. And yeah, it wasn't exactly like that, but I was like, okay, I really like him, and so I was thinking that maybe, there is a little chance that, he could, get back into it, because Eddy told me that, in his childhood, his parents made him go to church, and it was a big part of their
Catholic schools the whole time.
Yeah, Catholic school and the church. So I realized, okay, that has been really big part of his life. And I asked, and you believe in God, right? And he's like, yep, I do believe in God. It really bothered me, the fact that there is always there has been always this priest between God and him. And I'm like, hey, I have really I have hard time understanding, how come you can't have this personal relationship with God? And then I told Eddy that right away, that hey, it's very important to me.
Right.
And as he was really into me, then he started Googling churches right away. He came back to me and like, oh, you can't imagine, there is this church,
It's a church like yours.
Yeah, but it was really exciting. So it was.
I didn't know what to expect. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't know what that kind of church was like.
Right. What would you say to the engineer about the past 3 years of your life?
Hey, if you're gonna do something, do it. Don't, if you're gonna believe in God, then believe in God and put your energy there. Don't just say it, do it. And that's been a lot of what the last 3 years have been with me. If you're gonna commit to a relationship, commit to it, do it, give it everything.
The engineer would say I equals blah blah blah.
I equals something.
I equals do it.